Hi, hello, good morning students. In previous class, we are discussing about the flowchart of digestive system. Today also we will continue the digestive system. Digestive system. What is the flowchart of digestive system? The food enters into the mouth. You know the flowchart of digestive system: mouth, and then passes into the buccal cavity, to pharynx, to esophagus, and then esophagus to stomach, and then stomach to duodenum, then duodenum to liver, pancreas, and then enters into the small intestine, and then small intestine to large intestine, then large intestine to rectum and anus. Yes, last class we will stop at the stomach. The stomach walls are secreted the intestinal juice is called gastric juice. That gastric juice అంటే ఇక్కడ చిన్న స్టమక్లో ఉన్నటువంటి వాల్స్ అనేవి ఏమవుతాయంటే మనకు ఇంటెస్టైనల్గా అన్నీ కలిపి ఒక జ్యూస్ అనేది మనకు సెక్రేట్ చేస్తాయి. ఆ జ్యూస్ని ఏమన్నాం ఇక్కడ అంటే గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ జ్యూస్. ద గ్యాస్ట్రిక్ జ్యూస్ containing acid called HCl. HCl means hydrochloric acid. What is the main role of HCl acid in our stomach? So the HCl is one of the acid. It is containing with the gastric juice. The gastric juice is secreted by the stomach walls. What is the main role of HCl in our stomach? The HCl acid is involve the digestion process. Then it releases the number of enzymes and acids. The stomach walls are secreted the enzymes and acids. Enzymes and acids. One of the acid is HCl. It is involving the processing of digestion. At the same time, it is also helps the enzyme activity and acid activity. At the same time, once the releasing of HCl acid, once absorbing the food material surroundedly intact after it easily broke down the complexity to simple ones. At the same time, it really in the stomach walls secreted the digestive enzymes like a pepsin. That pepsin is act on proteins. Next, so in that walls of stomach having a small finger-like projections, called as villi. The villi look like a small finger-like projections. The small finger-like projections of villi helps the absorption of food, and then it is converting into small globules. Small globules. It is also helps the process of digestion. So this partially digestion is seen in mouth, and the complete digestion process is seen in small intestine. At the same time, the small intestine will also elaborate with compare the large intestine, large intestine. It's look like a coiled tube-like structures, coiled tube-like structures. At the same time, it having the succus intricus. The succus intricus are also helps the processing of simple digestion. Simple digestion. Next, after the food is enters into the duodenum, duodenum, it pumps the food material like a liver and pancreas. The liver secretes the juice called bile. Bile is secreted by the liver at the site of duodenum. It's secreted into the duodenum. The bile is without enzymes. The bile is known as without enzymes. Next, the liver is also act as a check post of the body. Liver is also known as check post of the body. Why the liver called as a check post of the body? Once there enters the accumulation of waste materials and poisonous materials with the food materials, the liver is check out the how much of waste materials are present in taking of food. సో మనం తీసుకునే ఫుడ్లో ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్లో మనకు వేస్ట్ ఉన్నాయి, పాయిజనస్ మెటీరియల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అన్నీ కూడా ఏం చేస్తున్నాను ఫస్ట్ ఇది అంటే లివర్ అనేది చెక్ చేస్తుంది. అందుకే బాడీలో మనం ఏముంది ఇక్కడ లివర్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఏ చెక్ పోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది బాడీ. ఏమన్నా అంటే ఇక్కడ చెక్ పోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది బాడీ. Liver is the secreted the bile juice. The bile is called as a without enzymes. The bile juice act on fats. The fats converting into small globules. That process called as emulsification. The bile juice is mainly helps the process of emulsification. Emulsification means the fat contents are splitting into the small globules. అంటే కాంప్లెక్స్ రే నుంచి సింపుల్ వన్స్గా మనకు స్మాల్ పార్టికల్గా చేంజ్ చేద్దాం ఏమన్నా ఇక్కడ emulsification. After the emulsification, the small globules are also turns into the fatty acids and glycerols. Next, pancreas. Pancreas is a mixed gland of the body. Pancreas is a mixed gland of the body. Why the pancreas called as a mixed gland of the body? The pancreas is secretes the secretes the hormones called as insulin and glucagon. So the insulin helps the controlling of diabetes అంటే షుగర్ పేషెంట్స్ మనకి ఏం చేస్తున్నానంటే ఇక్కడ సరైన ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది ఇన్సులిన్ అనేది మనకు ఉత్పత్తి అయ్యేలా బాడీలో చూసేది ఏమి ఇక్కడంటే ప్యాంక్రియాస్. సో వన్స్ దే డిక్రీజ్ ద ప్రొడక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్సులిన్ ఇన్ అవర్ బాడీ, ఇట్ లీడ్స్ టు ది diabetes mellitus. Next, once the decreasing of insulin production, it leads to the diabetes insipidus. తీసుకునేటువంటి ఫుడ్ కంటెంట్ అనేది మనకి ఎక్కువగా ప్రొడక్షన్ దేనిపైన చూపిస్తుందంటే ప్యాంక్రియాస్. సో ఆల్కహాల్ కానీ, గుట్కా కానీ, నెక్స్ట్ సిగరెట్స్ కానీ ఇవి ఎక్కువ తీసుకోవడం వల్ల కూడా ఏమవుతుందంటే మనకు ప్యాంక్రియాస్ పైన ఇంపాక్ట్ చూపించి ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇక్కడ అంటే మనకు ఇన్సులిన్ ప్రొడక్షన్ తగ్గించేస్తుంది. ఎప్పుడైతే ఇన్సులిన్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది మనకు ఎక్కువైపోయినా కష్టమే. సో ఓవర్ డైల్యూట్ అయిపోవడం వల్ల కూడా ఏమవుతుందంటే యూరిన్ అనేది ఎక్కువగా మనకు అవుతూనే ఉంటుంది. సో పర్ డేలో మనకు నార్మల్ పర్సన్ ఎంత ఉండాలంటే 1.6 to 1.8 liters excrete the urine per day. సో 1.6 to 1.8 ml అనేది మనకు ప్రతిరోజు కూడా ఏం చేయాలని ఎక్కడంటే 1.6 to 1.8 liters అంటే దాదాపు 2 liters అనేది మనకు బాడీలోంచి వేస్ట్ అంతా కూడా బయటికి పంపించాల్సి ఉంటుంది. ఓకేనా. సో గ్లూకాగాన్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో హెల్ప్స్ ద గ్లూకోజ్ ఫార్మేషన్. Next, the pancreas secreted the pancreatic juices. Pancreatic juices with the help of enzymes like a amylase, trypsin, lipase. So the amylase, trypsin, lipase enzymes are secreted by the pancreas. So these are secreted the pancreatic juices. The pancreatic juices also act on carbohydrates, proteins and fats. The first one is the amylase. So salivary amylase act as also carbohydrates. You know in our mouth having the 3 pairs of salivary glands. The 3 pairs of salivary glands are secreted the salivary amylase. The salivary amylase act as on the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates Releasing the products are maltose. Next, the trypsin enzyme is act on proteins. So the proteins is converting in the peptones. Lipase is act on fats. The fats are converting into the fatty acids and glycerols. So intestinal juices are also secreted by the stomach, and then the pepsin is act on the proteins. Okay na? So the pancreas secreted the pancreatic juices. The pancreatic juices are secreted by the enzymes like amylase, trypsin and lipase. The amylases act on the carbohydrates. It converting the lost products is maltose. The trypsin is act on the proteins. The proteins are converting the peptones or glucose. Next, lipase. The lipase is act on the fats. The fats are converting into the small globules. The small globules are converting into the fatty acids and glycerols. Next, the food enters into the small intestine. The surface of small intestine area is enlarged with compare the large intestine. The small intestine, it's look like a coil tube-like structure. At the same time, it is seen in the absorption process. After check out the waste materials in liver, it's sending into the small intestine. So after that, small particles of food materials transporting from stomach to blood. That process known as absorption. Next, the remaining waste materials is one way reversely enters into the stomach to mouth. It is called as a vomits. Once in taking of food with the contents of poisonous or spoiled type of food materials, at this time is one wayly reversely into the food material from stomach to mouth. The process called as a vomits. Next, at this time of vomits, it releasing the greenish color of food material called as a liverish or bilish. The small intestine to the food materials is enters the large intestine. The waste materials or enters the small intestine to large intestine. We have seen in a small amount of waste materials called as a defecation process. In the defecation is waste materials are stored in the large intestine. The store of waste materials is transporting from the large intestine to rectum and rectum to anus. So in that rectum and anus is connecting with the anal sphincters. The anal sphincters are easily sent out of the body any waste of food materials. You know, the small intestine having the pyloric sphincters. Pyloric sphincters. The pyloric sphincters are helps the process of digestion. It involving the simple digestion process. This is the digestive system. Okay, Thank you very much.